Today in Focus on Photography and Not the Isolation, where we focus on PHoGaN, PHoGAN, that's photography at home, in the garden and in your local neighbourhood. Today we're going to be going sky high, looking for an uplifting experience because we're going to be photographing clouds. Now, one of the great advantages of living here in the UK is that it's a temperate climate. So we're always having forever changing skylines and clouds, and the weather's always changing, so we have lots of different cloud formations and shapes to photograph. In fact, a friend of mine mentioned the pleasure of seeing clouds on their arrival for the first time here in the UK. They'd been used to living in an area of the world closer to the equator where they didn't really get a lot of clouds, and when they did, they didn't hang around for long. And they were very similar clouds all the time apparently. So for them, clouds were a revelation, something we see every day. Quite nostalgic to look at photographing clouds because for myself, I don't know if it's the same for you, it makes me remember the days when I was a childhood, back to my childhood, you used to lie on your back and you were looking up at the clouds. Happy days. Key points of cloud photography. Doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're outside centre of suburbia you could be, or you could be in your local park or in your garden, it matters not. Clouds are an ideal subject for PHoGaN. An important thing to remember is that you need to act immediately and you have to grab your picture there and then if you want to see some wonderful shapes, because as we just mentioned, clouds are forever changing. So you need to react straight away. There's no point thinking, I'll go and get my camera and come back and have a look at it, because you know the shape's going to be gone. Keep an eye out for the changes as you walk about your neighbourhood. Now, changing strengths of light, of sunlight, and even when there's no sun you can see because it's hidden behind the clouds, you do get a change of shade of light and texture and tone. And that's always a good change. So if you're looking about, you see the changes on the pavement or in your garden, then you know, look above, because the clouds will no doubt be changing as well. Photography textbook. Now, they generally suggest to you that the best way to photograph clouds is to use the widest lens you've got, a wide angle. I admit that you can get some dramatic shots by that, but personally I like to approach it differently. Like all things in photography, it really depends on the composition you're after within your picture. So sometimes you would use a wide angle lens, perhaps if you're doing a vista of a landscape. However, if you wanted to do something tighter of a cloud, then you can use a different lens. So like all things in photography, there's no hard or fast rules as to what lenses you can use. For this one here, I've actually got a zoom lens on, which takes me from about 28, which is a moderate wide angle, to 105, which is basically almost like the eye would see, but it's sort of cropped in a little bit more. Now, some of the most impressive photographs of clouds can be taken when they're partly obscured by the sunshine. As I said before, never ever look directly into the sun. Always try to get a sense of scale in your cloud photographs. Try to include surrounding objects in your picture. Even if the surrounding area seems to be unattractive, don't worry, the eye will be drawn to the cloud. So example, if you're on an industrial estate and you think it looks a bit scruffy, but you've got beautiful clouds above you, do a shot of just the clouds and then do a shot including part of the industrial estate. Often when I'm taking pictures with clouds in them, I like to use the clouds as a subtle background, thereby it gives the object in the foreground a point of interest behind it, if that makes sense. Another technique I use is I tend to use the foreground of the silhouette, because that helps to pull the viewer's eye through the picture to the clouds. Sometimes a cloud, although it may not be the main part of the picture, can really make your image a masterpiece. If you look at the paintings, for example, by, I don't know, Turner, maybe Constable, you will see what I mean for sure. Now, if you're really keen about taking cloud pictures and you want a dramatic cloud picture, I can suggest you get yourself up early every morning, just as the sun's rising, and you will find if you're able to take a shot of the sun as it's rising, the light will be such a low angle, it will just light underneath the clouds for you, and thereby you'll have this shot where the sun is just eclipsing the horizon of the earth, and it's basically waking up to a new day. And obviously you can get the same effect if you want to do it as the sun sets. I took this shot here on my camera phone, and the quality is not too great, but this really is that sort of half a minute you get as the sun's just clipping the eclipse, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, a couple more tips for you. If you have something in the foreground and you think, I want a little bit more detail on it, what you can do is just put your flash on your camera and then try it with that, try it with a flash and try it without a flash, and that way you'll have a picture you can look at later and it might show you more detail. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Particularly on a camera phone, again, they tend to be a little bit erratic, and the lesser quality compact cameras. And to finish with one more tip, do bear in mind of course that both mist and fog, well, they are types of cloud, and in their own way they also can bring you some dramatic pictures. Now it's time to look at some of our viewers' pictures. Thank you all those who keep sending them in to us. These are pictures where people have taken up the challenges I've set in earlier sessions. So last week's session was photographing flora in close-up, and I have to say got some really jolly bright pictures here. Well, they're really good pictures there, and actually it's just reminded me while we were playing those, I must contact Bridget. I need to get a haircut, Bridget, so hopefully once the isolation's over, make sure I'm top of your list, please. So, if you liked watching those pictures and you think, well, I can do better, all you need to do for this week's challenge is to go out and about in your home, in your garden and your neighbourhood, and take us a picture of a cloud. You can do it with your family, and if you like the picture you take, then please do send it to me. You can email me at phil@philmynottphoto.co.uk, or you can post them on my Facebook page. So if you've enjoyed this session and you think you've learnt something, you'd like to take part in future video sessions, then all you need to do is to subscribe to this channel here on YouTube by pressing the icon up there. Looking forward to seeing you again very soon. Stay safe, and don't forget, there's no such thing as bad light, just bad photographers. Bye.